Welcome to the Bourbon Van. I'm Phil. It's Whiskey in the Van Wednesday. Today, Early Times, the new bottle. This is the Sazerac branded Early Times bottled in Bond. Previously, this was a Brown-Forman product. A lot of people talking about this in the whiskey world right now, and we finally got our hands on one here in Oregon. 1 liter bottle, still just 20 bucks. Let's see what it has in store for us. Eventually, I think we're gonna have to compare this one to the old bottle, which we still have some left, and see how ultimately they compare. We'll bring Julian for that at another time. But for today, I just wanted to do a quick tasting of this whiskey, and we'll check it out. We'll talk about value and comparable bottles a little bit, but it's 97 degrees outside, super hot in the van here, and to be completely honest, I don't want to spend any more time out here than I have to, so I'll tell you what. I have a bead of sweat on my neck. When it gets down to my rear end, that's when we'll call this thing. So let's start by talking about the color. Early Times has this little tag that says that the color of this is rich Sedona. I'll give you Sedona. I'm not giving you rich. Let's get to the important stuff. Onto the nose. The aroma, ultra sweet, fruity, very, very fruity. Like a mixed berry, something like that. Not very dark, not ultra rich, but there's a caramel here. Some brown sugar. It smells bright, it smells lively, it smells pretty good. Let's go in for a taste. The first thing I notice is a tingle on the tongue. Strawberry, very bright, very fruity. I keep saying fruity here, both on the nose, on the palate. I'm getting a lot of it. There's caramel here, there's cinnamon. It's definitely spicy, maybe even a raspberry, some sort of red berry on the sides of my tongue now. Makes my mouth water. Dry oak, not bad. So my first impression here is that it's fruity, it's not overly viscous, it's not going to blow you away, but here comes a Kentucky hug now, getting some warmth in here. Tastes pretty good to me. Let's go for sip number 2. That sip showed a little more sweetness. It's fairly saccharine. I wouldn't say a powdered sugar, maybe a granulated sugar, something like that. The sweetness is really prevailing here. The spice lingers on the finish, but there's a ton of sweetness that shows up on the palate and doesn't go anywhere. The finish does dissipate pretty quickly. It's not gonna blow you away. I'm gonna take one more sip and then we'll talk about the value of this bottle. There's a little bitterness that shows up, but by and large, well balanced, a little saccharine, a little artificial fruit flavor coming through now. It has its ups and downs. So let's talk about the value here. You're getting a liter of bourbon for $20. So immediately you have to temper your expectations, but I would say this, it's pretty good. I'm not gonna call this bottle great. I would say previously with Early Times, when I first tasted it, I thought I'm getting a $30 bourbon in a $20 bottle. This tastes more like a $20 bourbon in a $20 bottle. As for comparable bottles, Evan Williams bottle in Bond, a different type of sweetness, but probably a little more well balanced. This one really goes hard on the sweetness. Old Granddad Bonded, you know how much I love that one. Probably pretty comparable in value here. Flavor wise, I might give the nod to the OGD Bonded. And at this point, I really think that we need to compare this bottle to the old Early Times first off, and then previously we put the old Early Times up against a bunch of great budget bottled in Bond bourbons, and it dominated. I don't know that this one would do the same thing, but I do think that we need to try that again with this new bottle and see exactly what happens, because it's good, it's interesting, I like it for $20. I liked the old one better for $20, I think. We really need to try them side by side. But all in all, for $20, you're getting a decent bottle of bourbon. I really can't complain about that. And there's that bead of sweat, which means that it's time to wrap this thing up. Early Times bottled in Bond, I think it's a solid value, 1 liter for 20 bucks. You're getting what you pay for at least, and maybe a little more. So if you've tried this new Early Times bottle, let me know what you think of it. Is it better or worse than the old one? And do you think it's still a decent value at $20? Check us out on Instagram at The Bourbon Van. Join us on Patreon at patreon.com/The Bourbon Van. And from wherever we are to wherever you are, cheers. Oh, it's so hot.